When everything is moving all at once, your workforce, your tech stack, your business, you don't need more tools. You need one solution. That's why Paylocity built a single platform to connect HR, finance, and IT with AI-driven insights and automated workflows that simplify the complex and power what's next. Because when everything comes together in one place, growth comes easy. Experience one place for all your HCM needs. Start now at paylocity.com/one.
He's dribbling the ball with everything on the line. He's driving down the pitch. He's facing price hikes and cuts past him. Carrier contracts, tries to block him. Oh, he leaves him in the dust. He's at the edge of the box. He cuts past the nonstop group chat trash talk. He clears on goal. He shoots. Goal! Unlimited data for $25 a month forever!
Visit your local Boost Mobile store today to get unlimited data with a price that never changes. Boost Mobile. After 30 GB, customers may experience lower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost $25 unlimited plan.
It's Saturday 18th of July, I'm Jamie East. This was a week that saw shock at the murder of former Minister Anne Widdecombe, Keir Starmer bow out as Prime Minister, heartbreak for England in the World Cup semi-final, and tributes to Jurassic Park star Sam Neill. Grab a cup of something hot, put up your feet, and get up to speed on the 7 biggest stories of the week. This is the Standout 7 from the Smart 7.
It's news,
But not the news. There was widespread shock last weekend as the death of former Tory Minister Anne Widdecombe was announced. The politician who had left the Tory party to become an MEP for the Brexit Party was a well-known figure who had appeared on Celebrity Big Brother and Strictly, getting all the way to the semi-finals. But her death was not from natural causes, as shortly after police announced a murder inquiry and made an arrest. Matt Longman, Assistant Commissioner of Devon and Cornwall Police, addressed the media on Sunday.
We retain primacy of this investigation and detectives remain open-minded about the potential motive. At this stage, there is nothing to suggest that it was politically motivated.
His attempt to defuse a charged political atmosphere wasn't helped by commentary from Reform leader Nigel Farage and fellow Reform member Nadim Zahawi, who appeared on the BBC on Sunday.
It's heartbreaking. I guess it puts in perspective what is happening in our sort of political discourse, and I think it's incumbent on all of us to just reflect. But it really is very, very sad. But
the investigation into the murder of the former Tory minister took a turn on Monday as counter-terrorism police took the lead after new information came to light. Police had arrested a suspect on suspicion of murder on Saturday, but then re-arrested him on suspicion of acts of terrorism. It's still not clear what inspired the change after police on Sunday said the attack was not politically motivated, but Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood updated the Commons on Monday.
Counter-terrorism policing have now taken the lead in the investigation. As Lawrence Taylor, the head of National Counter-Terrorism Policing, has said, and I quote, "We are pursuing multiple lines of inquiry to establish the motivation for this attack."
The Home Secretary also acknowledged that the death has raised questions about the security of those in public life and said that police will issue safety guidance to MPs soon. House Speaker Sir Lindsay Hoyle was also keen to emphasise that he takes MPs' security very seriously.
Just for the record, there is no difference between any member, I want to reassure. But I reassure everybody that when it is mentioned to me, it is passed on to the security people to deal with. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that people don't think I do that.
The murder of former Tory Minister Anne Widdecombe continued to make headlines on Tuesday as police continued to question the suspect they have in custody. The man was arrested in Rotherham, hundreds of miles from Widdecombe's Devon home, and counter-terrorism police are now running the inquiry and exploring the possibility that the attacker had a left-wing motivation. Head of Counter-Terrorism Policing, Assistant Commissioner Lawrence Taylor, spoke to the media on Tuesday.
It is clear that this was a targeted attack. He remains under arrest on suspicion of commission, preparation or instigation of acts of terrorism, as well as on suspicion of murder.
Former Tory Justice Secretary Sir Robert Buckland KC is already chairing an independent review into the murder of MP Sir David Ames in 2021, and he told Radio 4 that threats to politicians' safety has a chilling effect on democracy.
If we end up in a default position where MPs and political figures are more remote from those who they serve, then democracy itself takes a blow. And of course that means a win for those who hate us and those who want to use the bullet or the bomb rather than the ballot box in order to prevail.
This This week saw Andy Burnham officially confirmed as the next leader of the Labour Party after he secured a further 27 nominations on Monday to close the door on any rival and guarantee that he will be Prime Minister by next Monday. Monday also saw the government move to prescribe organisations including Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, who are believed to have been active in anti-Semitic attacks in the UK, including an arson attack on ambulances at Golders Green in March. The move will mean that any expression of support for the group could result in prison time and is part of the new National Security Act, which has been fast-tracked through Parliament. Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper says the UK will defend its security.
Iran and Russia cannot be allowed to use different proxy organisations to threaten security and safety on Britain's streets. And that's why we're ready to take these steps and designate these organisations to stop them threatening the UK.
Meanwhile, Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood is set to amend the immigration bill, specifically to allow the deportation of the Rochdale grooming gang and its leader Shabir Ahmed. Victims campaigner Maggie Oliver says while well-intentioned, the move is too late.
But the issue for me is that this is a reaction after the horses bolted. This should have been done in 2012. And what could have happened then? They could have spent 14 years trying to persuade Pakistan to take him back.
Tuesday saw a long-awaited bill to prevent cover-ups by the state clear the Commons and head to the House of Lords. The bill is known as the Hillsborough Law, and the intention is that the legislation imposes a formal duty on public authorities and officials to tell the truth and cooperate with official investigations and inquiries. Incoming Prime Minister Andy Burnham was happy to back the new law.
I hope it ends the cover-up culture. For 20 years, an entire English city was crying injustice, and yet this place ignored them for all of that time.
The bill is named in honour of the victims of the Hillsborough disaster, which saw police leaders spread false narratives and blame Liverpool fans for the disaster. Campaigner Margaret Aspinall says it's long overdue.
Cover-ups, lies, deceitfulness has cost this country billions. The truth cost this country nothing. So people tell the truth. Families would rather have it immediately.
The COVID inquiry published its latest report on Tuesday, this time focusing on the procurement of protective equipment, or PPE, during the pandemic. Baroness Hallett says that Boris Johnson's Tory government wasted at least £10 billion as they raced to secure essential equipment for frontline workers as the pandemic gripped the country. Flawed initiatives like a VIP lane, which ended up handing contracts to companies with contacts in the government, came in for particular criticism, and some of those cases are still being investigated by the National Crime Agency. Baroness Hallett also criticised the level of planning and preparation, which left the country exposed when COVID hit.
Governments across the UK did not have the systems and processes in place for emergency spending at this scale. The public must be able to trust that their money is being spent with propriety, fairness and transparency.
Wednesday saw the government unveil some of the detail around the proposed social media ban for teens. The first step will see a new curfew introduced that will initially be voluntary, intended to see 16 and 17-year-olds banned from social media between midnight and 6 a.m. The plan also proposes an end to addictive features like endless scrolling and algorithmic suggestions, but it's not entirely clear how that will work. The rollout of the plan will also include new guidance for parents on safe AI use and an improved media literacy programme in schools from September. The Online Safety Minister, Kanishka Narayan, spoke to Radio 4 about the proposals and said it's important that teens get support around the ban.
The thing I heard again and again from young people and families was, please don't make us have a cliff edge where you ban social media for under 16s and then it just drops off for 16, 17-year-olds. Today is about announcing a smoother slope rather than a cliff edge.
Social media platforms have come under an increasingly intense spotlight as the UK moves towards its social media ban for those under 16. The latest to find itself in trouble with regulator Ofcom is TikTok, which is facing a new investigation into how it manages the process of age checks. TikTok use a tool called age inference, which predicts a user's age based on how they use the platform and interact with others, and a spokesman said that the company is confident that the tech allows them to meet their Online Safety Act obligations. Kate Davies, who is the Group Director for Strategy and Research at Ofcom, is not so sure.
We found that some methods of age checks being used by social media are not working well enough. Specifically, what a lot of social media services are doing is using something called age inference. It is not in our guidance as an effective method of age check.
The last week has seen Ukraine focus its drone strikes on the Sea of Azov, a vital waterway connecting Russia to Eastern Europe. More than 100 vessels, including part of Russia's Shadow Fleet, have been attacked, and Russian authorities have now suspended shipping. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov had a not-so-subtle warning over the weekend to remind European nations of the threat that it still poses.
Russia is too big and too responsible country to be an initiator of a Third World War. The United States knows the possible consequences of that war as well.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer had his European going-away due on Monday as leaders of the Coalition of the Willing gathered in Paris. While it will be Starmer's last appearance, the meeting was very much focused on Ukraine, and President Zelensky addressed the attendees, including French President Macron, German Chancellor Merz, and NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte. Ukraine has been making progress both in the war and in the public relations battle, with Zelensky charming Trump at last week's NATO summit. The French president was calling for Europe to step up and defend its territory with blood if necessary.
It is today's wars that we have to win. We need to hold the strong on the Ukrainian front. We need to stand by our partners in the Middle East. We need to have the capabilities to be partners.
Wednesday saw European leaders gather in Kiev to continue the pressure on Russia and to announce a new partnership based on Ukraine's drone technology. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen made her 11th visit to Ukraine since the war began and was presented with the inaugural Ukrainian Order of Europe by President Zelensky. She signed a new deal which aims to combine Ukraine's expertise in drone technology with Europe's military-industrial capacity to enable the production of drones at a scale not seen before. She also announced more funding from the EU now that the Hungarian veto has dissolved with the removal of Viktor Orban.
And today I'm glad to announce a new disbursement of another 1 billion euros. But of course more is to come, because we have just approved a 10 billion euro disbursement plans for more drones, for missiles and fighter aircrafts. So, as I said, this is really just the beginning.
The Ukrainian plans don't just include drones, with President Zelensky announcing that the defence programme will include anti-ballistic systems, building on President Trump's promise to allow Ukraine to build Patriot missile systems.
This is the reality that will bring security and the triumph of life in Ukraine closer, in which our people, our children, our cities and squares, and all this beauty you see around you now will finally see peaceful days and nights.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer wrapped up a busy week with a final flying visit to Kiev on Thursday. He may have been startled by crowds of protesters when he arrived, but they weren't for him. Instead, it was an expression of frustration by Ukrainians at the sacking of Defence Minister Mikhailo Fedorov. The popular minister, who is credited with the change in Ukraine's battlefield fortunes, has clashed with military leaders, but it's not clear if the protests will see President Zelensky change his mind. Zelensky was busy on Thursday expressing Ukraine's gratitude to the UK as he presented Starmer with Ukraine's highest honour, the Order of Freedom.
We are especially grateful to Keir Starmer, with whom we've been working very hard throughout this time of full-scale war. Britain has always been with Ukraine, and we value this immensely.
The soon-to-be former PM paid tribute to the courage and determination of the Ukrainian people, telling them, "You will win this war."
It has been a real privilege to stand alongside you and to support Ukraine in this fight. I've visited Ukraine 4 times since the war started, and that means I can see and understand firsthand the difference and the devastation that Russia has wrought.
Last weekend also saw the death of another political figure, and this one also caused shock and surprise. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, a prominent member of the Republican Party and a key ally for Donald Trump in the Senate, died suddenly on Saturday evening. He had just returned from his 10th trip to Kiev and was in the final stages of preparing a new bill which would have seen the US impose new sanctions on Russia. Ukrainian President Zelensky was among those paying tribute on Sunday. Graham was due to stand for election in November, hoping to win his 5th term as a senator, and it's not clear what will happen now in the midterms. President Trump spoke to the media on Sunday and seemed genuinely shocked by the news.
President, I thought Lindsey was going to be living forever. I said, Lindsey, you're going to live forever. And he was going to have a big victory. You know, he was scheduled to win by a lot. He was going to have one of his best elections ever, and now he's got this. Terrible.
Any hopes for peace in the Middle East seem to be fading this week as the US continued to strike at Iranian targets and tensions between the two sides continue to escalate. The US president formally notified Congress last Friday that fighting has resumed, although he still refuses to recognise Congress's authority, maintaining that he is the sole authority who makes decisions on whether the war continues. He also spoke to Fox News on Monday, ostensibly about former Senator Lindsey Graham, but it turned into a rant about Iran, as he claimed that America would take over the Strait of Hormuz and charge a 20% toll on shipping.
Well, we're taking over the strait. They have nothing. We had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people, and so we're just going to hit them very hard.
It was another Taco Tuesday at the White House, and if you're wondering what that means, TACO has become an acronym for Trump always chickens out. It's a well-deserved moniker, as the US president has a long history of making grand gestures and then reversing out of them, and it became particularly popular in relation to his many different threats of tariffs. He was at it again on Tuesday, having floated the idea of America charging a 20% fee on all goods passing through the Strait of Hormuz on Monday. The US and Iran continue to trade strikes, and America says it has placed a blockade back on the strait, but the US president backed away from his potentially illegal tolls.
I was called by different people, different countries, and they said, we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States as opposed to charging a fee.
The US president has continued to threaten that he will escalate strikes targeting bridges and power plants if Iran do not agree to further talks. In retaliation, Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz, which America is also blockading again, but have also threatened to block other trade routes in the region, affecting the flow of both oil and gas. Speaking to Fox News, Trump conceded that his expectations at the beginning of the war that Iran's civilian population could overthrow the regime may have been misjudged.
I think they're afraid. They're being shot.
When you made those remarks, did you believe regime change was possible at that time?
Yeah, I did. If they had guns, if they had weapons, I had no idea that they would be willing to kill 52,000 or even any people.
Still to come on today's Standout 7, in association with Metro, World Cup heartbreak for England and tributes to a Jurassic Park star. Right after this.
He's dribbling the ball with everything on the line. He's driving down the pitch. He's facing price hikes and cuts past him. Carrier Contracts tries to block him. Oh, he leaves him in the dust. He's at the edge of the box. He cuts past the nonstop group chat trash talk. He clears on goal. He shoots. Goal! Unlimited data for $25 a month forever!
Visit your local Boost Mobile store today to get unlimited data with a price that never changes. Boost Mobile. After 30 GB, customers may experience lower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost $25 unlimited plan.
This season, everyone deserves a little more, and Mazda delivers with the extended driving range of the CX-50 Hybrid, so you can spend more time together. Standard all-wheel drive in every Mazda CUV, including the CX-5, and room to bring everyone with 3-row seating in the CX-90. Find more reasons to celebrate the season at the Mazda More to Move You sales event.
Every Mazda CUV offers you an elevated driving experience and refined performance. Discover it at your local Mazda dealer today.
Welcome back. This week in sport was all about the World Cup, as one of the great sporting rivalries was brought back to life when England faced Argentina in Atlanta. While England technically had the better record, there has been plenty of drama over the years, from Diego Maradona's hand of God to David Beckham's red card in 1998. Before the semi-final matchup on Wednesday, New England boss Thomas Tuchel was sounding positive, although conscious that England's main goal threat has come from just Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane.
We need to get better in attacking, but of course they are decisive players. They have the quality, they show up in decisive moments, so there's nothing wrong with it. We don't need to be sorry for that these two guys play for us and decide the matches for us. It's impressive.
France faced off against Spain on Tuesday night in Dallas, and the favourites got a shock as the Spanish side dominated, winning 2-0 and putting France out of the tournament. That meant Spain awaited the winner of Wednesday night's game, where England faced the reigning world champions Argentina with captain Lionel Messi. Before kick-off, Thomas Tuchel was confident that his side were prepared for the scale of the challenge.
They have the experience of the last win. They are the reigning champions. The group is almost the same group. So yeah, we want to take out the champions of the tournament. We want to take them down. We want to beat them. That's the target. That's what we prepare for.
Wednesday night saw Argentina go through to the World Cup final after a 2-1 win over England in Atlanta. It was a tense game which saw England take the lead in the second half with a great goal from Anthony Gordon. Argentina piled on the pressure in search of an equaliser, and they managed not just an equaliser but a second goal to win the game. It was more heartbreak for England, who will head to Miami for a showdown with France for third place. Captain Harry Kane spoke for the nation after the game.
Just gutted because we've worked so hard to be here, and the lads have given every last bit of running, sweat, blood, tears, whatever it is. So to fall short like we did today is just gutted.
Thomas Tuchel accepted responsibility for substitutions that made England very defensive, but defended England's performance against the reigning world champions.
At the moment, no regrets. The team gave everything, and we were very, very close. We deserved to be up 1-0. Played one of our better matches, maybe the best match in the circumstances. Team was top. We couldn't bring it over the line. No, at the moment, no regrets.
Wednesday saw Prime Minister Keir Starmer take his final Prime Minister's question time. Andy Burnham was confirmed as the new Labour Party leader on Friday, and he'll officially become Prime Minister on Monday. The manner of the changeover in leadership meant that the occasion in the Commons was a very positive moment, with Starmer's family in the gallery as he celebrated what he called the end of my political journey. Even Tory leader Kemi Badenoch was in a mellow mood and praised the PM for his work on Ukraine and the courage to invite Zelensky to Downing Street the day after the catastrophic White House meeting.
I know how much the Prime Minister has come to enjoy our exchanges. In fact, in the King's speech last month, he told me that on difficult days, my input was always a ray of sunshine.
The PM responded with kind words of his own and was given a standing ovation as he wrapped up PMQs, but not before he had one last go at Reform leader Nigel Farage and the impending by-election in Clacton.
Mr. Speaker, they intend to spend the summer arguing with the bin. My advice to everyone is put your vote in the bin.
He gave a final interview to Sky News as he travelled to Kiev on Thursday, defending his record and expressing the hope that with Andy Burnham at the helm, Labour is set up to win the next general election. He says he genuinely plans to spend more time with his family and got a touch emotional when speaking about them.
I can spend more time with them, which is fantastic. They're my pride and my joy. Every day I take pride in them, every little thing they do. Of all the things I've done in my life, having our two children is by far the best thing.
This week saw figures from politics, news and Hollywood pass, and last Saturday saw the death announced of former Sky News anchor Dermot Murnaghan, aged just 68. He had revealed a diagnosis of stage 4 prostate cancer just 12 months ago and passed away at home surrounded by his family. He had a stellar career as a news anchor, working for Sky News, the BBC and ITV, along with a stint on BBC Breakfast, and he hosted quiz show Eggheads. He won a Royal Television Society Award for an interview with Peter Mandelson in 1998 that led to Mandelson's resignation from government over a secret loan. Murnaghan made a point of speaking out about his diagnosis, urging men over 50 to get themselves tested for prostate cancer, emphasising that early diagnosis is crucial. This was his sign-off from Sky News back in 2023. Rest in peace, Dermot.
Yeah, I hope that I've managed to serve you well. It has been an absolute privilege. Thanks for making this career so worthwhile. I leave you with, always wanted to do this, a last look at the headlines. You stay classy, planet Earth. Goodbye.
Then on Monday, the death was announced of one of New Zealand's most famous actors, Sam Neill. His family described the loss of the 78-year-old as sudden and unexpected, although he had previously battled cancer. He was a versatile and popular star, appearing in movies like Jurassic Park and TV shows like Peaky Blinders, and he was well loved for his sparkling wit and entertaining presence on social media. He was born in Northern Ireland to an English mother and Australian father, but the family moved to New Zealand when Sam was just 7 years old. He was awarded an OBE in 1991 and received various other awards in New Zealand, including the entitlement to use the term sir, but he declined to use it, describing it as too grand by far. Rest in peace, Sam.
I think one of the secrets of life is take what you do seriously, but never take yourself seriously, and I never have.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
He's dribbling the ball with everything on the line. He's driving down the pitch. He's facing price hikes and cuts past him. Carrier contracts, tries to block him. Oh, he leaves him in the dust. He's at the edge of the box. He cuts past the nonstop group chat trash talk. He clears on goal. He shoots. Goal! Unlimited data for $25 a month forever!
Visit your local Boost Mobile store today to get unlimited data with a price that never changes. Boost Mobile. After 30 GB, customers may experience lower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost $25 unlimited plan.
Fuel your hustle with protein-packed, flavor-stacked Roller Bites. These compact handheld snacks deliver bold taste and real protein, so you can stay full, focused, and moving. No mess, no slowdown. Big flavor, clean fuel, and the kind of bite that just works. From long days to late nights, Roller Bites are ready when you need them in flavors like Tequila Lime, Monterey Jack, and Buffalo Ranch. Grab them at your nearest convenience store or catch them on tour. Visit rollerbites.com for dates, locations, and more.